My name is Mary Crocker Cook. I am the program coordinator for San Jose City College. I developed the Alcohol and Drug Studies program back in 1990, and I've been able to shepherd it ever since and develop it into, at this point, we're able to train at the peer level all the way through the license level, and it's been an absolute joy. This is our annual Alcohol and Drug Studies Addiction Treatment Works program. And it is the one night a year when the county programs and private practice programs all come to the same place. We give awards for Outpatient Counselor of the Year, Residential Counselor of the Year, Clinical Supervisor, Rising Star Interns, Agency Program of the Year. And the whole point is for people to dress up, be served, and see each other. It's an opportunity for us to function and feel like we're all pulling on the same boat. What we're doing is giving people an opportunity to see themselves against the tapestry of the field, because there's room for all kind of characters, right? If you would have looked around, I mean, you see all ages, you see different ethnicities, you see different gender identities, you see all kinds of people. There's room. It's a big tent. And I want us to have an opportunity to celebrate that, because recovering people represent a big tent. And I particularly love for my students who are currently enrolled to come, because they're able to see what it will look like as they embrace their professional self. They get to see why should they invest in their education, put the time and energy into it, because it can put them in the company of a profession that every single day makes a difference. Every day.
Gary Montreza, I'm the CEO of Pathway Society. I've been there this month, 10 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Peter Cusimano, and I work for an agency out of Palo Alto, Family Children's Services of Kaminar of Silicon Valley.
I'm Tiana Davido Nelson, and I currently work for Pathway Society.
I'm Adriana Aguilar. I also work for Pathway Society.
If you had to pick a favorite thing about the industry, working in the industry, what would that be for you?
I have to say that there's no pretense with people that work in this field. What you see is, that's it. And I never lose focus of the fact that we're serving clients, but we're also serving the people that do that work.
What about this industry is exciting for you? What does that feel like?
Well, that's a good question, because really it can be kind of frustrating at times, because we're dealing with addiction, and every once in a while I get to watch the lights turn on and somebody stays sober, beyond what they believe they could do.
When you make one change, it kind of leaves a legacy, and it's been very rewarding.
There's such a vulnerability to this work. People coming to you in their time of need, under the influence sometimes, at the lowest point in their life, and they're turning to you. And there's something really special and valuable about that you can hold that space with someone. And I think that's one of the most beautiful and rewarding things about this work.
So if there was someone seeing this video or interested in joining the field or becoming a KDAC or working in treatment or residential, what would you offer them? What would be some piece of advice that they should know going into this?
Well, you're going to have a lifetime of stories of how you made an impact in someone else's life, I think, is part of it. 2, there's a massive shortage right now of practitioners. So, hey, if you're interested, just saying.
We're all hiring.
Yeah, we're all hiring, but also we're trying to find people that want to grow, learn and grow, not grow and go. So that kind of thing. So we like to think we have an environment where people can do that, and we nurture folks. And if they're investing in themselves, we're investing in them. That's it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Recovery is my passion. I just don't think that there is another direction that I could have gone. Went back to school, got my master's degree, went for my marriage and family therapy license, and ultimately decided to stay with the LADAC because it is so important to me to be able to give a voice to those who are still suffering and provide a really authentic way for them to have a chance to get clean.
why do you continue to do this work or support this industry? What is that
Yeah,
like for you?
I think the thing for me is I like working with the people that like in custody, because I've always felt like an outsider, like I didn't fit in, and I feel most comfortable with people that don't fit in, that are kind of like the oddballs. And it's funny because when you're coming out of in custody, you get judged a lot and you don't get a lot of chances. So I've always like to be the advocate and the voice for those people.
Well, I would say that the KDAC program, the CCAP organization as a whole, has a really great way of creating standardization and really joining us as a profession. I think that getting the education behind us gives us, allows us to have credibility in this field.
It's hard to work in this field. A lot of people come in and they're like, oh, I'm gonna save everybody, I'm gonna do this. It doesn't happen that way. In fact, I'm always like, I kind of like tell people like just the way it is. It's really hard. The majority of the work that we do is, it can seem unfulfilling at first, but it's like that 2%. When you help that one person that you see actually go through everything, you're like, oh man, that's what it's all about. And that's what keeps me going.
First off, I think it's important for me to mention that I am in recovery myself and have 6.5 years of sobriety. I struggled with addiction over 30 years off and on. I'm a high school dropout. I dropped out of school at the age of 16, and the thought of me ever going back to school or college, it felt pretty out of reach for me. It wasn't until I found recovery is when I looked into going back to school. For someone like me, labeled as a high school dropout, I needed that, as I have never crossed the stage before, let alone with a 3.8 grade average, and I even made it to the dean's list.
I think going through the alcohol and drug program at San Jose City College gave me the confidence to just have confidence in myself that I can strive forward and do more. And I learned a lot during my internship at Pathway, and I want to thank Pathway. Being in a field where you help others, you get a feeling that you can't get from doing anything else. And sometimes it's hard, it's not always easy, but it's worth it in the end.
Every day I truly love my job. I know today that with every client I get an opportunity. We all get an opportunity to plant a seed, the seed of hope, the seed of recovery.
And I always thought when I first, I became clean and sober, so I want to be an alcohol and drug counselor. And as I'm going, it turned into a passion.
I am grateful for the seed of hope that was planted within me that I now can pass down to others.
What do I like about working in the addiction field? In my work in recovery services at ATS, I like to focus on encouraging my clients to rediscover their value, what brings them joy in life, who they are as unique individuals with hidden talents, and support them in gathering the tools to help chip away at the mud that encases their inner gold, priceless and unscathed.
I wanted to engage in a career that supported populations and communities that resembled me. I wanted to work with young men and women struggling with gangs, substance use, family problems, mental illness, low self-esteem.
Here at ATS, I daily participate in Momentum's mission statement, Realized. Momentum for Health exists to help individuals achieve mental and emotional health, discover and reach their potential, and fully participate in life. Each one, teach one step at a time, sometimes one breath at a time.
I was able to work with youth that were labeled oppositional, problematic, and antisocial. I got to work with kids that the education system had given up on and the probation system was waiting for. I got to work with kids that looked like, talked like, and acted like me, and I got to help these kids reimagine and reconceptualize what their realities and their futures could be.
Everyone here had a path that got you here tonight, right? Every single one of you. Someone moved you, something touched you, you saw an opportunity to help others. And I just want to say, for so many of you, you will not know the full impact you have on the lives of those you counsel, maybe ever. But the change for so many of them will be life-changing, life-saving, life-altering, and for their families, a level of profound change can happen, and you know it can because many of you had that experience.
If there was someone in the audience that was watching this video and Just curious about the addiction industry or the field of substance abuse. What could we offer them to get them a little closer, maybe?
You know, I think the reality is that the best combination in the world is lived experience plus an education. And majority of people who are in this event this evening have lived experience, and then they went to school and they learned how to translate what they know from experience into being of assistance to other people, right? Because, you know, there's different language and strategies and counseling skills you learn that help you be more effective in helping people understand what you intuitively already know. I mean, it's one thing for me to know, because I got a spidey sense, like when I'm in front of a binge addict, I know a binge alcoholic. I can see them, okay? But I didn't know necessarily how to help them. I needed some tools to know, okay, what do I do about that? Other than, you know, slap a big book on the table, you know, or I don't know. I wanted more tools. So that's what education does. So really, it's not that it devalues your lived experience. In fact, it takes it and it enhances it. You know, there's a saying, every addict affects 6 people, right? But so does every recovering person. And so every time somebody heals, their entire family heals, their community heals, and so it's a way to have a ripple effect that's profound. And not only that, but I get to train counselors to do it. So it's like a replicating amoeba, right? So then they go out and they heal, you know, family of 7, and then it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And so in terms of maximum difference, I honestly feel like it's the best way to do that.